I just created a 3 runs per week marathon training method for runners in their 60s. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how it works. You'll learn how to train for a marathon without running 5, 6, or even 7 days per week. I'm Dr. Peralta, physical therapist, run coach. And over the past 10 years, I've helped hundreds of runners get pain-free and keep running for life. The goal is to build endurance, protect your joints, recover better, and keep running for years. This is for runners who want to run less, train smarter, and run longer without getting injured. See, the problem, most runners in their 60s think that marathon training means they need to run more, right? They think it's more miles, more days, more workouts, more suffering. But that approach often leads to fatigue, soreness, injury. And the goal should not be to survive the plan or to, crawl through the finish line of a race. The goal is to get to the starting line healthy and still be able to run after race day, right? You don't want it to just be that runner who trains once a year for that big race, destroys their body in the process, and then takes several months to recover because, they ended up getting some injury, right? And unfortunately, many runners do get injured. Now, the stats vary, but they could be as high as like 80 or even 90% of runners who end up getting some type of injury. Now, again, not all injuries are very severe, right? But as a physical therapist myself, I see this every season, spring, fall season for marathons. They end up in the office for physical therapy with some overuse injury, whether it's knee pain, shin splints, Achilles tendonitis, hip pain, just because they're trained for running, typically trained for a marathon, and their body ends up just breaking down. Right. And many people, running is an accessible sport. People would think, oh, I just put on a pair of shoes. It's simple. Just go out for a run. Right. However, there's more to it than just going out for a run, especially as you get older. You have to be paying attention to more things. When you're in your 20s, you probably get away with it. When you're 20s, your body can adapt and jump back. You could not train at all and just go for a run. Maybe you might be sore for a week or so, but then you're so young, you just recover quickly. But when you're older, your recovery abilities diminish significantly. And many older runners get stuck in this boom bust cycle, right? They have a good day, so they catch up. They go for a run, pick up a training block. They end up overdoing it, whether it's on a long run or a speed workout. Then they get some type of injury or some pain, and they rest to recover. They think, oh, if I rest, the pain will go away, the injury will go away. But this is a common misunderstanding of how running injuries work, because then they introduce the load again, and they end up getting re-injured in the same area, right? Because they never actually fully recovered the area. They just rested it to temporarily get some pain relief, then the pain comes right back, right? And it's a common mistake. So what people don't understand with running is that you want to find the balance between load and capacity, right? When the demands of running exceed your body's capacity to handle it, it ends up breaking down, right? And again, this could be coming from the long run. And your body's capacity is typically from strength, mobility, but also how much sleep you're getting, nutrition, right? All these things are integrated to make up your body's capacity to handle the demands of running. Right? Many people don't realize that running is a high impact sport. It could put anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body weight every time your foot hits the ground. So even if you're just a 150-pound runner, right? You're like, oh, that's like a fairly light runner, right? That's still anywhere from 300 to 450 pounds of joint reaction forces going through your leg on a single leg. Right now, imagine repeat that over thousands of steps. And if your body's not strong enough to handle the load, it's no wonder why then it starts breaking down, especially as you start training for the bigger mileages, right? When you're training for a marathon. And yes, you can even get injured for a half marathon as well. It's just the risk increases with the bigger distances. So the better way, this is what I recommend, is 3 runs per way, 3 runs per week, marathon. That means you run less often, but each run has a clear purpose. And this isn't about being lazy. It's about getting more time for recovery. One long run, a tempo run, and an easy run. And then you support those runs with cross training, strength training, mobility, and recovery, because you really need to prioritize recovery, especially as an older runner. And if you want to copy this Google Doc, I'm sharing inside my free school community for runners called Running Pain Free. You'll get more resources on how to train smarter and stay pain free, especially as an older runner. Click the link in the description to join. So step 1, build around those 3 quality runs. These 3 runs per week does not mean just 3 random runs, right? It means every run has a job. Your week should include 1 long run, 1 tempo run, and 1 easy run. Now, if you're a complete beginner, yes, you can start with easy runs for all 3 runs. If you're a complete beginner, or run walk. You could do run walk method for all 3 runs. That's fine as you build up your fitness as a complete beginner. And then you can start introducing a tempo run and then a long run. But anyhow, this type of framework, though, this 3-run structure, gives you enough stimulus without beating up your body. You actually can get pretty good at running without, training like an elite athlete who's running almost every day of the week. Even elite athletes try to have recovery days in there, even at least one recovery day. But anyhow, when you do 3 runs per week, you have more time for recovery, and this extra rest from running supports your recovery and also gives you time to do the other things that support running, because running alone is a one-dimensional sport. So now you're able to do the strength and mobility work that's needed. So let's go talk about the specific run workouts. The long run, right? This one is going to be your bread and butter, especially if you want to do distance running, right? You want to train for 10Ks, half marathon, full marathon, ultra marathons, right? This long run builds endurance, time on your feet, confidence. It should feel controlled, not like a weekly sufferfest, right? You shouldn't take you an entire week to recover from a long run. If it does, it means you're not ready to do that distance, or you need to scale it back, or maybe do run walk. But anyhow, you want to build gradually and avoid big mileage jumps, right? So let's say you train for a marathon, you shouldn't go from 8 miles to 16 miles, right? You should, from week 1, 8 miles, week 2, 60. No, it should be a gradual bump up to increase your long run distance, maybe 10% or so, give or take. There's a little bit of wiggle room depending on your experience level, but regardless, you want to make, you want to double your distance. Anyhow, again, run walk is definitely allowed, especially if you're a beginner or if that's your preference. By the way, you could do run walk if you're more experienced as well, just to be clear. But anyhow, the goal is to build endurance without destroying your joints. Run 2, the tempo run. The tempo run should help you hold a stronger pace for longer. It's where you train your threshold or even at sub-threshold. Threshold, since you're like your lactate threshold, ability to clear lactate to allow your body to kind of train under fatigue, be fatigue resistant, should be comfortably hard. It might be a 10-minute warm-up, 25-minute tempo, then a 10-minute cool down, or like 10-minute easy run, 20-minute tempo, 10-minute easy again, right? You can do intervals. You can also do different types of intervals as well. There's different varieties, also like fartlek run as a tempo run. This helps you get faster without, again, running 6 days per week. And then the third one I recommend is the easy run. This should feel actually easy. Most runners run their easy days too hard. Keep it conversational, right? You should also, another tip is that you should be able to breathe comfortably, right? You can even experiment. You should be able to breathe nasal breathing, and breathe in through your nose. You can breathe out through your mouth or in through your nose, out through your nose, but you should be able to do nasal breathing if you're truly running at an easy pace, right? Bearing if you don't have any health issues or some kind of like breathing difficulties, like a deviated septum or some kind of blocked sinuses or something that stops you from nasal breathing. But regardless, at least you should be able to hold a conversation, a relaxed conversation, or sing a song comfortably, right? You should finish feeling like you keep going. Walking breaks are allowed if they help you keep in that easy zone. And if you're a more advanced runner, you could actually swap out the easy run. So now you're having 2 quality runs, or another speed workout. So you could actually do, instead of just an easy run, you could do a speed workout. That could be repeat 400s, repeat 800s, repeat 1 kilometers, or 5-minute hard pace, 1 minute easy, different types of intervals. It could be track repeat, it could be done on a treadmill. But if you're more advanced, you could have, then the structure becomes a long run, a tempo run, and a speed workout if you're more advanced. If you're intermediate, again, a long run, tempo run, easy run. And if you're a complete beginner, 3 easy runs. And then the second thing I like to do is 2 days a week cross training, right? So 3 days of running does not mean you're just completely, sitting on the couch for the rest of the week. You're doing 2 days of cross training in between to build the engine without more pounding. Good options are walking, biking, rowing, swimming, hiking, incline walking. This builds your cardio fitness while reducing joint stress. It's one of the best ways for older runners to build endurance safely. This is how you can actually build up your aerobic engine without having to run every day of the week. Again, at least twice a week, and the length could vary anywhere from 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. It depends what exactly you're training for. If you're training for a marathon, yes, it'll be a little longer, around 45 minutes to 60 minutes. But if you're just training for general fitness or maybe 5K, 10K, it could be a 30-minute cross training. And then strength training, also twice a week. It could be done on the same day as the cross training day. Strength training is non-negotiable if you want to run strong in your 60s. Helps you absorb impact, stabilize your joints, maintain your form, and aim for 2 full body strength sessions per week. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding style training. I recommend running specific, working on specific muscle groups that you need. The goal is durability, not soreness. And some of the benefits, right, allows you to improve your running efficiency, decreases the load of running, the demands of running, because now stronger legs makes running feel easier, improves your tendon stiffness, not just at the Achilles, but also at other tendons too, your quad tendon, your glute tendon, right? When done properly, you have to do the right exercises, of course. You can't do random exercises. It improves your rate of force development, right? Increases your, this is when you do power training, and some different types of training recommendations, right? You got heavy lifting, dynamic or explosive training. This is where you do like speed lifting, And also, some people categorize jump training as part of explosive training as well. And this infographic has it as a separate category, but I would actually argue plyometric training is also part of explosive training. But nonetheless, heavy lifting, explosive, and plyometric. Plyometric are things like squats, jump squats, box jumps, jumping over hurdles, different types of jumping drills. Heck, even jumping rope can actually be seen as a type of plyometric training, or skipping as well. But these things could be combined. Right. Yes, you could do a third session per week, but at least 2 times a week, it could be combined. There would be some heavy lifting, some speed lifting, some jump training, all in the same kind of strength workout. And yes, if you prefer, you could do 3 days a week as well. And you could do a combination. I know this infographic is saying free weights, but it could also be machines. It could be dumbbells. It could be kettlebells. You could use a combination of modalities to strength train. And yes, you do space them out, right? Especially if you're doing a hard, intense run workout. Let's say you were doing a tempo run, space it out, maybe do the tempo run in the morning. And then so there's enough recovery gap. So then when you do the strength training, you're kind of fresh for the strength training in the evening. Or if you do it on separate days, even better, which I recommend doing on separate days, cross training and the strength training together. So some of my favorite strength exercises are squats, deadlifts, single leg deadlifts, step up, step down, split squats, bridges, hip thrusters, calf raises, and obviously upper body work and core body. I actually recommend doing the full body routine, train the full body. And again, if you feel limited, you could obviously spread it out over 3 days. But regardless, you do want to train at least the major muscle groups at least twice a week. That's why I recommend at least twice a week of training. And then mobility, this helps you move better, reduce compensation. Oftentimes actually helps with injury prevention as well. So even 10 minutes today could make a difference, right? If you have stiff ankles, ankles can affect your knees and your hips. So obviously stretch your ankles out. Or if you have stiff hips, that could shorten your stride and irritate your back, and then stretch your hips out. Whatever area is stiff on you, you want to spend at least 10 minutes per day, but it might even be 20 minutes per day. You might do a 10-minute mobility in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening to really help mobilize and loosen up your joints. All right. There's different types of stretching out there, different variations. We could go more into the weeds here, but if the short story is, do mobility daily. Think of it like brushing your teeth to keep your joints mobile. And then respect the recovery. A lot of older runners get hurt because they're under-recovered. They stack too many runs together, or they run too hard too often, or do too many hard workouts back to back, right? They do a hard run, then a hard bike session or a hard lifting session. Recovery is when your body adapts, right? Your muscles repair, tendons calm down, and joints recover. See, recovery is not weakness, it's part of the training plan. That's why I recommend at least one recovery day, or even two, actually like 2 recovery days per week. You could space them out, because I know a lot of runners like to do the long run on the weekend, long run on a Saturday, then a recovery day on Sunday, right? So then you get to recover from that long run. Or if, let's say, you do a tempo run on Wednesday, maybe have the recovery day after the tempo run. So I actually do like 2 recovery days, but I know some people like to spread out their strength training. They do a 3 and 3, like 3 runs, 3 strength training. But regardless, you do want to at least have 1 day of full recovery. So a sample weekly schedule I like here. Again, the time may vary depending on what you're training for. If you're training for a marathon, in the early on part of the block, you might only be training 3 hours per week. But as you get later on in the training block, it might be closer to 5 hours a week, or even a little closer, depending on how long you're running, how much time it takes you to complete a long run. But regardless, most runners can actually complete their training in 3 to 5 hours. With a 5-day schedule, actually, unless you're doing the additional day of strength training. But anyhow, Monday could be a rest day, Tuesday tempo run, Wednesday cross training plus strength training, right? So you combine cross and strength training. Thursday easy run, Friday cross training, strength training, Saturday long run, and Sunday rest or easy walk. So what happens when you train this way? You recover better between runs, your legs feel less beat up, right? And you're able to become stay more consistent with running. You build strength and aerobic fitness without the extra pounding. And you feel more confident because your body can actually handle the training plan, right? You don't have to, do a training block and then get hurt or feel like you have to take a full 6 months to recover, right? I talk to a lot of runners like, they only do 1 big race a year because they end up, wrecking their body, end up getting hurt. They end up getting injured. Now you can be more consistent with your training. Doesn't mean you have to do races year round. You can still do 1 big race, but you still be able to enjoy running for general fitness throughout the year without having to take several months off because your body got injured or broke down. You're able to stay injury free. A lot of my runners are runners in their 50s and 60s, able to train, who realize there's a smarter way to train, and now we got rid of their injury, whether they're nagging knee pain or hip pain, etc. So this works because it gives you enough time to prepare for races, whatever race you may be wanting to do, even if it's a full marathon. You do 3 runs per week, gives you enough recovery, reduces the junk miles. Now you could also integrate strength and mobility as part of the system. right? It helps you train for longevity, not just the one race. So I currently have a few spots open to work with me for private one-to-one coaching. I help runners train pain-free, build strength, and prepare for the next race. We create a plan built around your body, your injury history, schedule, and race goal. If you're curious, there's a link to apply in the description. First come, first serve. So in conclusion, more running is not always better. Every run needs a purpose. Train like an athlete, right? And don't just train like the hobby runner, the hobbyist who just runs alone. Make sure you also do the strength and mobility work as well to make you well-rounded. If you're training for a marathon in your 60s, you don't have to train like a 20-year-old or an elite runner, right? You just need a plan that fits your body. 3 runs per week can be more than enough when the plan is built correctly. Run less, train smarter, recover better, and build a body that can keep running for life. If you found this useful, hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.